Hi guys, and welcome to another Watch Geek video. Today we're doing a detailed tutorial for the movement 8A50 that's in this Prospex speed timer chronograph Seiko. Now, just like with all my other tutorials, in the description you will find a table of content with time codes, so you can jump to specific parts of the video or functions of the watch. However, I would advise you to watch the whole video the first time just so you get acquainted with everything that this watch offers. Now, this is a solar watch and it can hold up to 6 months charge once you put it in the dark. But just like with all the other solar watches on the market, you want to avoid that because the batteries used in solar watches actually have a number of cycles, and those cycles depend on the depth of discharge, so how much you allow them to discharge before you charge them again. The deeper this depth of discharge, or the lower the battery goes before it goes up, the shorter it's gonna last. Now, my oldest solar watch is, I believe, 20 years old, never missed a beat because I avoid storing it in the darkness for long periods of time. So when you're not wearing the watch, just leave it in your living room to get the ambient light of your living room, and that's gonna be enough to keep it charged. Because if you do it like that and wear it normally, the depth of discharge is gonna be pretty low because it's gonna be in the dark for a couple of hours, which is nothing compared to the 6-hour power reserve, which means that the depth of discharge is so low that the battery is probably gonna last you like 20 plus years. So there's just one advice when it comes to solar watches, and one very important one. Now, this watch, it doesn't have the, let's say, the power level indicator. However, it does have a low battery warning. So if one day you pick up the watch and you notice that all the hands of the chronograph hand are pointing downwards, that means that the battery is almost depleted and you have to expose it to light, whether sunlight or artificial light, it doesn't matter, although sunlight is much more efficient. So if you see your hands pointing downwards, that means that the watch is about to die. Once it completely dies, it's gonna move all the hands up again and it's gonna stop. So if you see the chronograph hands, these three, point downwards, make sure to charge your watch. With your watch sufficiently charged, you can proceed to set up the time. Now, this watch has two modes, stopwatch mode and timekeeping mode. Currently, it's in the timekeeping mode. In the stopwatch mode, you press this lower button to go to the stopwatch mode, and the hour and minute hand gets synced. So you cannot move the minute hand without moving the hour hand. So that's how you're gonna know that you're in the stopwatch mode, when everything points up and these two and the minute hand is covering the hour hand. Let's go back to the timekeeping mode. As you can see now, the hour hand is visible. And Seiko also did the correct color coding because all the chronograph hands have white tips and white color, while the hour hand, which is the only one not used, is actually silver to distinguish it. Now, to set up the time on this, while in the timekeeping mode, you simply pull the crown to the first position, and now you can move the minute hand in 1 minute increments, as you can see. You don't have to align it, it's already perfectly aligned, and sadly they didn't include independent hour setting, so you have to move the hand to move the hours, so the minute hand to move the hours. Now, you can do it in 15-minute increments by simply twisting slightly faster the crown, but it's only 15 minutes. So setting this up can sometimes be tiresome, but luckily you're probably gonna do it once and that's it. Okay, you can go the other way as well. So twist it fast to go in 15-minute increments, twist it once to get in 1-minute increments. Once your atomic clock reaches 0, you simply close the crown and the watch is gonna start from 0. And that's pretty much it. You set up the watch. To use the stopwatch, you press the lower button, the watch goes into the stopwatch mode, and here you have hundredths of a second, 1/10 of a second, second, and minutes. It's only a 60-minute chronograph because the hour hand is gonna follow the minute hand underneath, hidden. So to start the stopwatch, you press this upper button, and as you can see, the watch is gonna start going. It's gonna display the hundreds and tens of hundreds and tens of seconds only for the first 60 seconds. After that, these two dials are gonna stop to save the battery, but once you stop the stopwatch or press the split, it is gonna display where they are. So even though they stop, the watch actually internally measures it. Also, if you're in the stopwatch, you started it, and you wanna go back to the timekeeping mode, you simply press the lower button, the watch is going to go back to the timekeeping mode, but internally it still keeps running. The stopwatch still keeps running. Once we go back to the stopwatch, it's going to pick up where it left, like so. To stop the stopwatch, you press this button again, and to reset it, you press the other upper button. And that's it. You can also do split times, so you start the stopwatch with this. While the stopwatch is running, you press the upper button. It's gonna stop the measurement so you can take your notes, and pressing this again unfreezes it so that it can continue. And you can also do the first and second place. So let's say if you have two runners, so you start the stopwatch and the first runner goes through the finish line, you press this upper button. The second one goes through the finish line, you press this other one. And now you write down the time of the first runner, press this, it's first gonna show you the time of the second runner, and then pressing it again is gonna reset the stopwatch. And that's pretty much it when it comes to these basic functions. Now we're gonna move on to the more advanced one. So while in the timekeeping mode, press this to go back. You can do an all reset of the module. So in case the watch starts acting funny and it's not working properly, you can reset it by pulling the crown out like you're gonna be setting up the time, and then pressing all three of these buttons together and holding them for 2 seconds. That's gonna reset the internal circuit, but it's also going to reset the hands. So now if we do it now, the watch is going to think that these two are pointing at 12 even though they're not. So if you do this IC reset, you have to do the hand alignment after that. So we're not going to do it right now, but let's say you did it by closing the crown. The watch is going to start, but it's going to think it's midnight no matter what these hands are showing. So it's going to be incorrect. So to do the hand alignment, you go to the stopwatch mode and all hands have to point upwards. If any of them is not pointing upwards, you're going to have to correct that. To correct it, while in the stopwatch mode, you pull out the crown. So not in the timekeeping, but in the stopwatch mode. You pull out the crown and press this button for 2 seconds and then release, and you're going to see the hour hand move slightly and go back. That's going to mean that you're ready to reset the hands. So press and hold, release, and it's going to move. So press and hold, this was too short, release, and there. You just saw the hour hand move. So now you're aligning the hour hand with this crown. Because it's pretty difficult to see it, my advice to you is to press this again to move to the minutes hand, and then move the minutes hand away, and then do the hours hand followed by the minute hand. But now because we just moved the minute hand away, we're going to move on next, align all of them. So press again. Now this hand is to be aligned, and you can align it by moving this crown clockwise or counterclockwise. You can also do the fast one on some of them, on this one obviously not. And sadly, this doesn't allow you to fine-tune the hands if they're slightly misaligned. It just allows you to move it in the increments that the hand is programmed to do. So this one is slightly misaligned, but we cannot fix it, and you're gonna see. So press again. Now this hand is being set up as the 0. So as you can see, you can move it only in these increments, which is not enough to do the perfect alignment. Press again. Now it's this hand's turn. So again, here you can move it clockwise, you can move it counterclockwise, like so. Once you've set up that, now we go back to the hours, and look how small the increments here are. That's why I wanted you to move the minute hand, because you're not going to see the change, look, unless you move the minute hand. Once you've aligned the hour hand, now you press for the minute hand, and now we align it. You can do the fast movement like so, as you can see, but we have to do these small steps now because, and I have to do it slowly because it jumps in these 10 minutes increments, so it's gonna skip back. This is gonna take some time. Now it's very important for you to complete this before you push in the crown, because once you push in the crown, the watch is gonna memorize this position as the 0 position. So if you start this, don't stop it until you've aligned everything perfectly. Like so. So now these are aligned and we're ready to push in the crown. bam. Now this is the new 0 position of the hands. Again, starting the stopwatch, stopping it, it resets properly, and going back to the timekeeping, it's gonna show the correct time. And that's pretty much it. So I hope you enjoyed and found it useful. If you did, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.